Most basic one, who voted in the last election? Show of hands. So 3 out of 5. I voted, so if we would count me, 4 out of 6. Did you guys vote?
Can I explain why?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, go for it.
What happened was I wanted to vote and I went to vote, but I didn't have proof of address. It was fairly recently when I moved back into London, so I didn't have a copy of a lease agreement or anything, or any letters or any real proof of address, so I could not cast my vote.
I also didn't vote for that same reason, but I didn't actually show up to the poll. I kind of knew that I had to have proof of residence, and I just didn't have it.
Okay, so that's actually a great segue to one of the things I wanted to talk about was in this election there were new laws, or not restrictions, but new laws on that you had to show proof of residency. So clearly we had at least 2 people, even in this small group, who had problems with that. What do you guys think about about the laws in general? Like, I mean, are they good? Like, I mean, I think the purpose they serve is to prevent you from voting in London as well as your home riding. But obviously it creates a problem, clearly creates a problem for students who don't get letters. You know, you said you don't get the bills, so, and your driver's license is for your home in Pickering, right? So, I mean, you know, what should be done to fix these laws, or what is the solution?
Well, I certainly don't have a solution, but you know, there does seem to be a situation where there should be an easier way, especially some new type of legislation for students, you know, who have that situation where they're moving to and from different residences. So maybe something combined, you know, with a student number or proof of enrollment in the university, you know, something along those lines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know my first year I didn't, during the election, I didn't have any proof either, but I just got my residence manager was allowed to vouch for me and say that I lived there, so I was just able to vote that way.
So you guys were obviously aware, relative to some degree, of the new laws. Did you have did anybody have friends who weren't aware? Like, did you see with these new laws? I think it falls on Elections Canada to inform the public of them. Do you guys think it's their responsibility? If it is, like, did you see advertisements on campus? Like, was there a real visible campaign informing people?
There were some commercials, weren't there?
Some.
Not a lot.
But not a lot. What about?
I didn't see anything, actually. I didn't even know you had to do that.
Yeah, so some people didn't know. Mallory, did you see much?
Well,
did you hear much?
Yeah, this might be a result of working in a newspaper, but we were pretty aware because we were writing about it.
Mm-hmm.
But besides that, I didn't really see that much. But even if you did see a lot, it doesn't change the fact that some people just don't have the proof of address, even if it was advertised well.
So it's a combination of the new laws to begin with, and then people didn't know about it. You know, people didn't know about it, and then even if they did know about it. So do you think something like more, like, let's say they plastered the UCC with posters and like telling people about it, do you think it would change much? Or
I think what maybe needed to be different was a representative from Elections Canada maybe going to student houses and apartments and stuff. I don't know which election it was, you might know. But they came around to our doors and signed us up and got us all registered that way. So we were aware well in advance, and if we didn't have proof of address at that point when they came to our door, we knew that we had to get it somehow. So
should Elections Canada, going back to kind of your idea, they should be the ones facilitating, making it easier to show proof of address or proof of enrollment? I like the proof of enrollment type thing. One of the problems though is not everyone at the university lives in the same riding. For example, you guys are in London West, but I'm in London North Centre. Kristen, I know the 4 of us are all in London North Centre. So, but that's kind of the idea.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. That, you know, it does pose a problem, but I don't know, there should be some kind of mechanism for students to be able to vote.
Can you actually vote on campus?
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Mallory, you probably know a little bit more from being at the newspaper, but I think they have a booth set up for certain people.
I think it was just first years. Only first years were allowed to vote.
If you're in residence, you can vote on campus.
Okay, you can vote on campus, but
not if you're second year?
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
yeah, so clearly there's a lot of, you know, there's not a consistent message, people, you know, from Elections Canada as to who can do what.
Well, like, what if you live, like, in BC? you're not gonna go home,
That's right.
and you're not gonna change your address just because it takes so long to switch your driver's license and.
Is there mail-in ballots to vote in your home constituency?
You know what, I'm not sure, there may be. I
yeah.
think there is a way.
Because it
that
wasn't
you
very
can
well
do that.
publicized either.
Yeah,
Like,
I
I
get
would
it.
have preferred to vote at home, but I wasn't at home on that day, and I would have opted to do a mail-in ballot if I knew how to get my hands on it. I just didn't know.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. I'm just thinking off the top of my head, what about some kind of, like, account? You know, you get your social security number and driver's license, ID, and all that kind of stuff. What about having like, when you register for a driver's license or something, getting some kind of account set up for voting? So once that account is registered to vote, you can, you know, pick which, like, residence
Mhm.
area you frequent most, or, like, for students, it could be, you know, your hometown or your school town, whichever you choose to cast your vote in, and then cast your vote.
That way, so kind of
Something
like
like
kind of like a registration database.
Yeah.
That way, when an election happens, you know, whether it's they send the voter registration card to the correct address, that type of thing.
Why don't
That-
they just register it online? Like, go register
Mhm.
yourself online.
That was actually one of the ideas I was going to pitch to you guys. Like, what do you, especially, you know, people talk about got to engage the youth, got to engage the youth. Technology is a great way to do that. Everybody's online. Why don't we do an online database where I can plug in my SIN nut to show proof that I am who I am, my SIN number, my health card number, or whatever, and say for the next 8 months I am living here.
Yeah.
That way you don't send that way the person who lives in BC doesn't get their voter registration card is sent to them in London or wherever they may be, not British Columbia.
So, like, I had to go back to my other home to get my voting card to go to the other poll station because I just didn't know how to switch it.
Yeah. Did you guys see going back to the information, did you guys see anything, yeah, everyone talks about social networking sites, that's the way to go. Was there anything on Facebook? I don't remember seeing anything on Facebook from Elections Canada.
I don't remember seeing it.
It's a lot of underutilized tools to get the message out there, is kind of what it seems.
Especially at a university, because you would think that that's more of an area to be able to spread the information. It just didn't seem like it was here, really. I think that not being able to vote on campus is a problem.
Yeah.
I realize that there's different ridings and stuff, and it depends on where you live. But I think that there should be some accommodation for students, because a lot of people, if they have like only 2 days of class or 3 days of class a week, they're on campus that entire day, and they don't make it to the polls on time. And we've had to run to a polling station once a couple years ago to vote because we didn't get out on time. So something like that, if it's organized well before the election, I think could work.
Yeah, well, obviously with something like voting, the easier it is to vote, the more people that are going to do it. So I think with something on campus, it's going to make it a lot more accessible. You know, people who don't have cars or possibly a way to get there.
Mhm.